good morning to you, dear viewer of DTN Television. Wherever you are joining us from Kenya, East Africa, and around the world, welcome to our favorite weekend news magazine, Nation Time, the home of incisive, detailed, and balanced coverage from all the latest happenings in the world of politics, sports, business, entertainment, and so much more. If it's happening, you will see and hear it promised on Nation Time. Today, I have my guest in studio, Mr. Gordon, who is a political science student at the University of Nairobi. Mr. Gordon, thank you for making time for us.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
We are discussing how the life of the youth in Garissa after the general election. And as you know, it's 1 year from the general elections, and the impacts, the life of the youth, the impacts, the challenges the youth are having. That's what we are going to discuss with this young man who is currently pursuing political science at the University of Nairobi. On to our first question, the normal life of the youth in Garissa after the general elections.
Thank you, Mr. Okay, when we are taking that particular perception of the life of the youth after the general elections, you find that these our youths, they are mostly lured by these our politicians and misused. So after the general elections, they are being dumped by. Then the youth just go back to their initial life that they were before, after being used by these our politicians. You find that these youth, they are being given something small, even to cause chaos. I think to cause chaos in some political rallies. After having been given this thing small, this thing won't help them. You see, some of them are just using this particular thing that is being given to them to purchase some illegal drugs that they are consuming in the streets. I think. Yeah. So this thing or the political issues are just leading this our youth in a bad direction. I think. Yeah. There is nothing that they are gaining directly from this particular from these politicians. You see, yeah. The misuse of this our youth is really a topic that we need to be to discuss based on the life of the youth after the general elections. When you talk about how it helps the economic situation, how it has contributed the economic situation of the youth, we talk about the employment. You see, after the general election, you find that most of our youth were left unemployed. Why am I saying that most of our youth were left unemployed? You find that during elections, there were some demonstrations. You see, then these demonstrations led to the destruction of the properties, and you find that these properties that were destroyed, they are some of the things that were creating employment to this youth. For instance, let's talk about a person or a youth or a boy or Njoguna Otieno who was working in an M-Pesa house that was destroyed by this demonstrations. I see. When the general election ended, you find that this person had nowhere to get something. I see. So that one already had a direct effect to this person. In addition to that, you find that there are some business centers, I see, that were destroyed as a result of the demonstration. For instance, when you talk about the Garissa market, I see, that market was bad. Why was it bad? Due to some personal interest, I see. We are doing this one in the favor of our person. So when that particular market was banned, you find that those who were carrying out business activities in that particular market, they had nothing after that. Then you find that these properties which were burned, they were totally destroyed. So that one was a great loss to the youth, I see. Because these things are the things that maybe you are paying for your school fees. You know, people carry out business activities for different purposes. And you find that somebody is carrying this one to raise school fees or to feed some people at home. Maybe you have parents who depends on you. So this thing really led to the economic decline of the youth, I see. Because even if you are an adult, you have opened up a supermarket somewhere, or you have even opened a store somewhere, you are going to recruit these our youth, I see. But if any case there is interference with this particular supermarket or this particular store, do you think thousands of the youth that were employed there are going to get employment? No, there isn't. So, when I'm answering that question, I am answering that question based on what? On the direct benefit of the youth, I say. So the economy of the youth was totally ruined after that general election. Take for instance, our border riders. I see. most of the vulnerable areas are youth, you see. So when there was post-election violence that was experienced in the year 2017, that's last year, you find that youth could not carry out what? You could not carry out their transport sector effectively. Due to what? Due to fear. You see, if we take this part to the other direction, what will happen to us? If we take this part, because now people are divided according to the ethnic groups. Maybe you want to take somebody to a given region where your supporters are not there. What is going to take place to me? Or how is my life going to be there? You see, so such like situations reduced the transport sector as economic income to the what? To the youth. Are you getting? So youth would not directly benefit from the transport sector due to fear.
Yes, you said that political leaders are luring, you know, the youths in leading demonstrations, of which is having more impacts on their lives. Can you tell us the impacts of general elections to the education sector?
Okay,
If you look at that background.
Thank you. When we talk about the impacts of the general election to the education sector, you know, when we take this thing in a layman's language, the elections were held towards the national examinations. It was held in August, but there was a Supreme Court nullification of the presidential election, which led to the political temperature within the within the country. So you find that there were mass movement or mass migration. People who are in the town, some of them migrated to the rural areas, I see. And those who are also in the spotlight areas also migrate, I see. So you find that when somebody migrates from the region, original place where he or she was registered as a candidate, or as a voter, you know, they are migrating with the learners, I see.
You as a political science student at the University of Nairobi, what advice, or rather, what general message will you give to the youths out there?
Okay, the only information that I can convey to my fellow dear youths outside is that let us be whom we are. Let us accept the way we are, and let us try to our level best to avoid any form of misuse that can be brought to us by these politicians. You know, a politician is somebody who uses you, then drags you. So the only information that I can convey to my fellow youth, especially the comrades at the University of Nairobi, is that let us remain whom we are. Otherwise, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gordon, for making time for us. Thank you for making time for DTN Television. We really appreciate your presence.
Thank you, sir. I also appreciate that.
Thank you, dear viewer, for making time for this special program at DTN Television, which we bring to you once in every week. I'm your host, Ahmed Mohamed. Have a blessed weekend ahead.